Welcome. Today is Sunday, January 13th, 2019. Here's what's what. Japan's transport ministry has asked the United States to step up airport security inspections after a passenger accidentally took a loaded handgun onto a flight to Narita outside Tokyo. The ministry made the request to the U.S. Transportation Security Administration last week on January 4th over an incident that took place the previous day. A female passenger on a Delta Airlines flight from Atlanta told the cabin crew during the flight that she had mistakenly brought the handgun and bullets onto the plane with her. The crew reportedly took the handgun away from her. The woman said she was carrying it for her own protection. Japanese immigration and customs officials refused her entry into the country and sent her back to the U.S. Japanese officials believe a pre-boarding security inspection at Atlanta had failed to detect the gun. It's not the first time that Japan has asked U.S. authorities to tighten security inspections at their airports. On several occasions in 2017, passengers arriving in Japan from the U.S. were found to be in possession of handguns and bullets. Verna Bloom, a character actress best known for playing Marion Wormer, the cheating wife of Dean Wormer in the 1978 comedy Animal House, and Mary, mother of Jesus in The Last Temptation of Christ, has died at age 80. Her family stated Bloom died Wednesday, January 9th, in Bar Harbor, Maine, from complications of dementia. She appeared as Sarah Belding in Clint Eastwood's 1973 western High Plains Drifter, and later worked again with Eastwood in his 1982 film Honky Tonk Man. Bloom had roles in more than 30 films and also had several television credits over her multi-decade career beginning in the 1960s, including The Equalizer, Cagney and Lacey, Kojak, Bonanza, and The West Wing. She is survived by her husband of 49 years, screenwriter Jack Cox, and their son Sam. Thousands of fatal car accidents across the U.S. this year may have been prevented if drivers got more sleep. Although studies show being tired has the same effects as being drunk, only 2 states, New Jersey and Arkansas, have laws that make it illegal to drive while drowsy. But even in those 2 states, enforcing it is extremely difficult. The law says the driver must have been without sleep for more than 24 hours. Experts say even if there was a law making it illegal to drive drowsy, prosecution would be nearly impossible. That's because there is no tool to test for sleepiness or fatigue. A Georgia family who suffered a terrible loss caused by a drowsy driver wants Georgia to be the 3rd state to have a law that makes it illegal to drive while drowsy. As it stands now, a driver could only be charged with 2nd-degree vehicular homicide, a misdemeanor in Georgia with no jail time. Studies show a lack of sleep mimics being drunk. If you've been awake for 24 hours, it's the equivalent of having a 0.10% blood alcohol concentration. That's higher than the 0.08%, which is the legal limit in all states. There are, on average, 6,400 fatal drowsy driving crashes each year in the U.S. Coming of Age Day is a Japanese holiday that is celebrated on the 2nd Monday of January each year. In Japan, this is a holiday that is characterized as a time of happiness and growth. It's a celebration of independence and self-reliance for Japan's newest adult members of society. The holiday includes people whose 20th birthday falls between April 2nd of the previous year and April 1st of the current year. Coming of Age Day recognizes adults to be individuals that have been alive for 20 years or longer. This is because the current Japanese government system recognizes 20 as the minimum age of a legal adult. Upon turning 20, Japanese citizens are granted the legal right to vote in elections, drink alcohol, and smoke tobacco products. Coming of Age Day is comparable to many of the large Western holidays like Thanksgiving and Easter. This day is full of festivities for young adults, beginning with a special ceremony at the city hall or other government establishment of each town or city, transitioning to many of the new adults going to local pubs to celebrate their new right to drink alcohol. Celebrations are also held at concert halls and other popular venues. In large cities, new adults are invited into major music venues to enjoy food, alcohol, and live music at no cost. Before the ceremony and throughout the day, city centers are flooded with photographers and various other media personnel. This year, Coming of Age Day occurs tomorrow, Monday, January 14th. Turning to birthdays for today, January 13th. Orlando Bloom is 42. Orlando's an English actor, having his breakthrough as Legolas in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. He rose to fame by further appearing as Will Turner in the Pirates of the Caribbean series. Julia Louis-Dreyfus turns 58. Julia is an American actress, comedian, producer, and she is also heir to a multi-billion-dollar shipping fortune. In television, she is known for her work on Saturday Night Live, Seinfeld, and Veep. Billy Gray is 81 today. Billy's an American former actor known primarily for his role as James Bud Anderson Jr. in 193 episodes of the situation comedy Father Knows Best, which aired between 1954 and 1960. Trace Atkins is 57. Trace is an American country singer and actor. He's charted more than 20 singles on the Billboard country music charts, including #1 hits, which peaked in 1997, 2007, and 2008. A public health alert about possible hepatitis A contamination from Bowers Candies was announced Thursday by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Consumers who bought the individually wrapped marshmallow candy dipped in chocolate or caramel after November 14, 2018, should throw them away. The FDA says a worker at the Bowers Candy facility in Kentucky tested positive for hepatitis A contagious liver disease caused by the hepatitis A virus. The risk of hepatitis A transmission from the candy is low, but the FDA said that people who ate candies bought after November 14th and have not been vaccinated for hepatitis A should see a healthcare provider to determine if they require treatment called post-exposure prophylaxis. Prophylaxis may be recommended for unvaccinated people who have been exposed to hepatitis A virus in the last 2 weeks. Those who have been vaccinated against hepatitis A do not require it. The agency said it is not aware of any cases of hepatitis A linked to the candies. The FDA said it is working with the company on a voluntary recall of the candies and will release details as they become available. What happened on this date, January 13th? The Rhodes Opera House fire occurred in 1908 in Boyerton, Pennsylvania, killing 171 people. The fire started during a stage play when a kerosene lamp being used for stage lighting was knocked over. The 1915 Avezzano earthquake with a massive 6.7 magnitude that extended 300 miles across Italy killed 29,000 people. The town of Avezzano, about 60 miles east of Rome, is completely destroyed. 78 people were killed in Washington, D.C. when an Air Florida Boeing aircraft crashed into the Potomac River in 1982, just 2 miles from the White House. This crash was caused by bad weather. In 2012, the Italian cruise ship Costa Concordia ran aground and overturned after striking an underwater rock off the coast of Tuscany, resulting in 32 deaths. A rare 1943 copper Lincoln cent, found by a Massachusetts teenager in his change after he paid for lunch at a school cafeteria, is expected to fetch up to $1.7 million when it's auctioned off. The coin, produced accidentally by the U.S. Mint, has been described as the most famous coin made in error. In 1942, pennies were supposed to be struck from steel in order to conserve copper for shell casings, telephone wire, and other wartime necessities. However, a small number of bronze blanks were caught in the mint's presses and were struck into pennies in the new year. The resulting copper cents were lost in the flood of millions of steel cents, escaped detection by the mint's quality control measures, and quietly slipped into circulation. It's believed only 20 of the rare coins were made. 2 Los Angeles police officers who are married both pleaded no contest on Friday to a charge of animal cruelty after failing to care for their elderly Labrador. Sharon Azpetia and Jason Azpetia, both 43, were immediately sentenced to 5 years of summary probation and were barred from obtaining any new pets for 5 years. The couple must also complete 45 days of community service, 16 sessions of animal neglect counseling, and an online animal care education program. The pair was put under investigation last January after a neighbor found the dog on his driveway in the rain. Prosecutors said the Labrador showed signs of severe lack of care. On October 15th, the couple was charged with 1 count of animal cruelty and 2 counts of failure to license, though the latter charges were eventually dropped.